Okay, daily duties that I tend to. As much as I wish there were more, I don't have an advisor right now. Hey, someone fixed the wall. Huh. It's nice. Alright, let's see what we can do. Uh-huh. Okay, well, I was gonna say someone beat me to it, but no, they just took, I guess, leather and wool, and then left me to clean up everything else. How generous. Prince Fioravente, I wish I lived the life you live. Must be a life of luxury, and just oh so busy. And oh so eventful. You must have so much responsibility on your shoulders. Prince Fioravente, how do you do it? No one can do it like you, Prince. No one could ever do what you do. No, of course not. Here I am putting bone blocks into random miscellaneous chests. And barrels, too. Is this getting to a point where I need to tax it again? I feel bad. If that's worth anything. But also, if I don't take... okay, you know what? Blight, I never emptied this. You know what? Regardless, I can start keeping a store of these things. 3 stacks of each thing. That way, we are never truly out. No one can greed too close to the sun, because I've got a backup. Uh-huh. Well, we used to have a squid in here. That's why it's, I think, watery. Don't know who took it. But that's cool. Awful nice of him. Perfect. 3 stacks of bones. Again, I mean, what am I doing here? This is what my time goes towards. This should be a Decorte job, actually. Not the worst shout of mine. Prince Fioravente, you're a genius for coming up with ideas like having the Decorte do your idle cleanup jobs. But also, I mean, there's something therapeutic to it, right? We have so many blaze rods that I don't know what they even get used for, so honestly, yoink. Alright, well, now I've got a coffer full of every resource we could possibly need. Well, not exactly. I have every resource that we farm. Read my book. I have an experiment maybe today. Blight, I have the Katarina meeting today as well. That means I still need notes. Wonderful. I still don't have mail. It's not like I'm expecting mail, but doesn't mean I don't want it. Okay, let's see. These aren't stocked. These are. That's it. Decorte duties. Whatever. To be revised by acting advisor D. Martino. Trim tree outside of dorm. Shovel snow at Kingdom Building. Empty mob farms. Keep enchantment room organized. Keep books stocked. What else? Is there anything else? That's just what I can think of. Ooh, keep blood stocked, obvious. Let's see. So yes, we have the blood in here. I mean, it is... It's stocked with excellent. Yeah, there we go. That's the actual good stuff. No. I'm not gonna settle for less once I've had the best. That's not how that works. So we'll change this to keep blood stocked magical. Thank you, random coffer. They're not gonna do much in the bathroom. Well... They're not gonna do much in the bathroom. What else then? I wonder if... No, I was thinking for a second maybe mail could be a thing that we put forward onto the Decorte, but that would require a talk with the headmaster. Hello? Okay. Perhaps... Report to Celica on rough weekly cadence for current duties. Just in case, I mean, our acting sage perhaps ever requests anything. Which she might need to. What else? We have keep the books stocked, keep the blood stocked. Shovel my snow. I don't know if there's all too much else here that requires constant upkeep. Because honestly, I mean, I feel like we're pretty... I guess self-sufficient, maybe? That'd be the word for it? Where's the do you see this? Oh, okay. Alright, on to the other concern. What the hell? What are you? What are you reading? Pablo and 7 p.m. For who? Oh, no. Oh, no. What? Are you Pablo? I don't think we have a Pablo. At least not that... Is it alive? It just... I'm not crazy. It was facing me. How... I swear it turned to face me. Why is he angry? Is he always angry? Only scheduled for Leonidas tomorrow at 7 p.m. Horrible. Horrible. Horrible, horrible. What the hell? I don't like that one bit. Not one bit. Okay, because I know the plushies. I know there's that the plushies are completely fabricated. That I'm getting the hell out of here. I gotta go. I'm not for whatever's happening there. That's not a plush. That is a fleshly being. And I hope that it is not following me. That is the least I can hope for. Okay, alright. I mean, I didn't need anything. I was just looking for inspiration. And you know what? I don't think I need it. I think I am plenty inspired. Okay. Let's just... Marjorie from Dante, delivered by... Sabrina? Interesting. Okay. Alright. You know, I'm gonna stay in the comfort of my room. Take a seat. That can go away. I have a to-do list somewhere in here. To do. Name Kingdom Building, Rose Festival. Katarina, right? Violent Complaint. Without then. Okay. Katarina. Notes to meet with Katarina about. I need a book. I have books. Come on. Okay. Alright. I won't be lazy. Perfect. Okay. Meeting with Katarina. March 18th. 2026. Okay. Yeah, sure. We'll make a nice little line here. I think I'm just delaying the inevitable, which is thinking on Katarina. What do we need to meet about? Well, there was that a headmaster missive? Hello, I think we need to have a little chat. I could not agree more. Where would you like to meet? Uh-huh. Okay. All right. Awesome. Meeting notes. Katarina. 318. Meeting notes. Phelan. 318. All right. I'll just take that. Why not? Meeting with Phelan. What do I need to discuss? Violet, first and foremost. Acting roles, I don't really need to concern about. And that's my own appointment. What else did I need to meet with the headmaster on? This is why we have meeting notes, but for meetings that I can actually prepare. I'm not ready to just have a meeting sprung upon me. Plight. Violet is my main concern, just with she's getting up to things. Might not understand. She is an air major, so her being taken of an acting title that technically should be in line with her major might strike a little odd, but think. What else? Tutors have progress. That's good. That's something we lead with. Tutors. Make sure things are clear with Veswin, Violet. I think court by or member by member. We are having an event, Rose Festival. That might be something to, I suppose, gain approval for. Approval. Off grounds or off campus. Okay, this one. Just verify that he's aware. So I don't know if it's that much. I don't know if she said she would take care of it. I don't know if she did. It's my worry. Okay, member by member. Marjorie's been doing fine. Celica's out, but I don't know if that's Phelan business. Rosalind and Mateus, I think they're both fine. Well, I don't know what's been discussed with him. Okay, you know, Headmaster wants to meet. Headmaster surely has meeting notes or something that is taking present mind. So I'll just go over there. Spread my own wings and just, you know, it might have been faster to just ride up the stairs. Come on. I'm not on school grounds, so it should be fine. Good evening.
Good evening.
I don't know if this counts as school grounds, and I'm not getting in trouble. No witnesses, I would have flown to the doorway, but, I mean, that's a Dante, who is normal now. So what, he was fine Saturday, Sunday, no. Monday, no. Tuesday, jury's out. Wednesday, he's fine. So side effects shouldn't last that long. I hope. Okay. Ooh, you know what I should note? Demons, or Cinder, Incident, and Ongoing. That's good. I want to make sure, because Cassian mentioned he was wanting to take a point deduction. Oh good, they've all been hit now. Wonderful. Now, Cassian mentioned he was, I think, willing to take a small deduction in points, but... I must have the wrong office. Ow. Ow. Good evening.
Apologies, I was in a space.
No
We need
worries.
to talk.
Sure.
Do come over to my desk and I will create space there.
This is a tone I'm not sure I like.
Okay, so admittedly there's a few things that we do need to speak about, but there is one main concern at this moment.
I see.
Celica has just asked me to kill her.
Uh-huh. Pardon?
Yes, that was my reaction as well. I do not know how well versed you are in curses and such, namely regarding
I don't know
Celica,
if it's a
but
good thing to say that she was
there
in
is
a
a
coma,
concern
or
there,
that I'm just now
as
learning
well
she was
as
out of it.
apparently she had been throwing up blood recently.
Wonderful news to me, okay. As
That
far
is
as I was
just-
aware, she was in a... As far as Rosalind detailed, as she has been covering our magic grounds, she has been taking care of Celica, and Celica was in a deep sleep, or a light coma. So this is the first that I'm hearing that Celica was actually up. I have my hesitations.
Yes, she was at the portrait where my sister and I are in the main hall.
I see.
hmm
And
Um,
how certain are you that this is Celica? From what I've heard, there's illusory magic or something of the like going around, so...
very
given-
certain, as she was saying things that only Celica would be aware of.
I see.
As well as there was some form of branding on her neck. I personally do not know too much about that now.
Who do I...
As well as, how up to date are you with, I suppose, all of your court members? Have you checked in with them recently?
A
Namely,
good few of them.
Yes, have you checked in with Vicky and Violet?
Violet is one of my concerns that I was going to bring to you. I was actually planning on writing a more so formal complaint. Vicky could not tell you the slightest thing. I have not seen them since they arrived unexpectedly.
Well, I have spoken with Vicky recently.
Oh.
She has been suspended.
Oh.
The court itself has not been punished for it. However, it seems that she was upset with you for whatever reason. I suppose for lack of being proactive, which is interesting. I have not seen her around.
I saw her when she arrived, and she never... Do you remember when exactly she arrived?
I believe December or January.
I would have literally written to her. Apologies for the tone, but...
No, you were fine. I was quite surprised myself.
Huh.
Mhm.
Well, okay.
As well as that, she was upset and seemingly still harbors some prejudice towards some of the other courts.
She wasn't around to even meet them as far as I was aware.
I suppose more so based on the rumors that would be circling around. And she heard about the raccoons. And well, I truthfully, I do think this better explains it more than I ever could. This was all in the demon dormitories. There was also a forgery of a book that I believe I have on. I do.
Right. Can I see that forgery? That's my whole camera. Apologies.
You're fine. This book was said that this was from you. I personally do not know anything about it. I have reached out to Professor Helios.
I'm gonna blow my brain straight into
he
a
has
wall.
No recollection of it ever being something he would write, as well as the fact that his name is misspelled.
Okay, so right, give me one moment. I'm going to explode. I'm going to explode. I'm going to... Violet is... Okay. let me get my thoughts straight on this, right? Because this is the forgery. I have, where is it? The original of it. Yeah, right here. Vampire Stuff and Vampire Stuff by Violet. So, no, because, okay, all right. So, all right, to get it straight, you believe the forgery was Vicky?
Admittedly, I'm not fully certain, but considering she has confessed to it, I believe so, yes.
Do you have a written confession?
I do not.
I see.
I admittedly was more focused on trying to get a punishment in and out.
When have you ever
considering
punished
it
anybody?
was the second form of instance between the demons and the vampires that has been brought to my attention. And they were not happy about it, to say the least.
Oh, in fairness, neither were we, and we had to sort that out ourselves.
Yes, unfortunately, this was a matter of her actually breaking into the dormitories, and
We had an actual break-in as well.
yes, the unfortunate thing was this could be proven that she was completely in there,
He
and
put a
while I do
book
believe that
on the
Cinder
wall
was...
that could not have been
Yes.
reached unless he was inside.
Mhm. Unfortunately, Cinder
What is this
had
double standard?
a different punishment arranged by him, as well, I suppose yourself and Cassian, and points were not taken as Castiel could not comfortably prove that the demons had broken any of the school rules. Though I will be reaching out to Vicky via letter and asking for a full confession.
I guess I'm just, hung up first on the difference in punishment then, because evidently there was no way he could have gotten in to put the book up that he did, or tie up the raccoons that he did, without having stepped inside, which would be trespassing, which I believe would be against the school rule. And
I believe
with
there
the
was
lack of
the
punishment from Everthorn, yes, me and Cassian had to come up with a punishment. To my memory, that did also include a small drop in points. At least that's what I remember.
Well, if Cassian asks, that didn't happen. The points. I had told him differently because he was very upset. And admittedly, with Court Bloodwen and
should be
Court
dead.
Cerulean, I do prefer that the both of you do, obviously, sort things out amongst yourselves, mainly because your courts are the only courts that are having clashes. However, the lack of a reduction in points for Violet was because this seemed to be, or not Violet, Vicky, seemed to be a direct retaliation against you. Though Violet is another topic, she is not happy.
Correct.
You may want to sit down again.
To clear up this book before we move too far along, there is exactly one person that could have made this forgery. Besides, I suppose, Helios themselves, who I presume could, I suppose, have a copy of this book, or remember exactly verbatim, word for word, what they wrote. I have an original copy of the book that I received a few months back.
Oh.
With the correct signature, and surprisingly, shockingly, somehow verbatim, word for word, letter for letter, what is written in the forgery. A book titled Vampire Stuff, written a bit differently. The handwriting is a bit different. I believe that whoever made this forgery got a bit wrong. The book is labeled Vampire Stuff, and it was given to me by Violet, along with a book written by her titled Vampire Stuff Violet, where she writes, I, Violet Valilise Villis Vendetto, acknowledge and concur a misunderstanding has happened on my end. As far as I'm aware, no demons in Court Cinderloon has ever called a vampire a bloodsucker. All else that I have spoken to Helios is true. but that was my mistake, and wish for that if it is ever brought up again, to have this cleared up. So the only hands that have ever touched this book, which I have had the copy on my person this entire time, would be me, Violet, and Helios. If Helios was to be making a forgery,
the original?
Of course. If Helios was to be making a forgery, I would imagine they got their name right, and I also never knew Helios well enough to know if this is something they would do. I have no reason to spread something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
frankly, I would hope that you have the trust in me to at least spell a signature right.
Oh, most definitely. Though I can also say this is not Helios's handwriting either in the original. So if Violet were to be the one who had it on her, that is something that I need to speak with her about. Though, admittedly, with her feelings
I'm
regarding
told
you,
that she's showing up around the school in dirt and being told that it could lose us points and, I believe, ignoring it.
yes, admittedly, I do not know who is telling her it will lose some points.
I believe
Because
Krypton.
I will speak to Professor Krypton about that. However, she has informed me of some things. The main one is something that I personally have an issue with, and the other is something that I believe is something that you yourself and the court can figure out amongst themselves. To start off with what I think you can sort out amongst yourselves is Violet believes that you may not be a good fit for the crown. Namely because of, I suppose, how you have her, as well as some other issues I cannot recall fully off the top of my head, but it was how you treat the court. Simply put, she believes that people are not happy, and she believes that you do not give people the opportunity to grow into a role that they may be able to flourish in.
Interesting. Does she have any names for that?
Off the top of my head, I cannot recall, but I do know that she named herself and mentioned that at some point you had called her useless.
Fascinating.
Mm-hmm. As well as there is the issue of Veswin. Now, it was not brought to my attention at all that Veswin had taken a leave of absence from the school.
I see.
She had not informed me. You have not informed me. It was not something that was brought to my attention until I spoke with Violet.
I see. That's, I suppose, my mistake. Veswin communicated it with me and said that she would be covering the necessary bases. That being communicating with you, communicating with the professors, she wanted to still keep up her studies abroad.
Well,
I assume that she did not get around to speaking with you and instead left. Are you sure you didn't get a letter, or perhaps something was taken out of the post?
Yes, I am quite sure. I have spoken since with Veswin and have figured out what is going on.
I see.
However, Violet has informed me that you have removed her as a Viscountess, which means Court Bloodwyn does not have a Viscountess, an acting Viscountess, or Viscount.
Correct.
That needs to change. You cannot be in the running for the crown if you do not have a court. And at this point in time, you do not have a full court. It is fine if you want to pick some people from home. But the point of this, I suppose, for lack of a better term, competition, is so I can pick people who I believe is best suited for the role.
Would it not be the points winning?
Well, yes. But I get the final say in the end. The points are a good representative of it, and obviously if a court is very far ahead in points, it is evidence that they do deserve the crown and they have done everything correct, and that it is someone who I would fully trust and believe they will have the best in mind for the realm. But when I have a court that is having so many infighting issues, it is not obviously just Court Bloodwind, but
Do we
Court
have
Bloodwind is
more
the one I hear
infighting
most about.
besides Violet and Vicky, who it was immediately suspended without even my own consultation? I wasn't aware of any further infighting.
That is the issue, though. It is obviously mainly Violet, I will say. Violet is the one who I have heard the most from. But with Violet, how she's acting, it is not just a one-off, you upset her and everything goes, pardon my language, but batshit because of that. This is clearly something that's been reoccurring in the court. And while I understand you have clearly lived a very different life to a lot of other people, namely those in your court, you have grown up knowing that at some point you will be taking over a role. It was never something in question. You would be taking over the sovereign role. And that is what you were raised to prepare for. Just because of that, I am more lenient with you on things. I've been very lenient for Court Bloodwind. Obviously, without trying to show any bias.
Literally, how?
But I cannot
You suspend one of my vampires immediately
have any,
without any talk to me.
I suppose.
But then the demon, that's our
belief
problem. That's how we gotta figure it out.
You would be the correct ruler if you are unable to control the current court you have. If you're unable to keep on viscountesses or viscounts. Admittedly, yes, they are acting. And I do know that you had spoken to me prior about wanting to, after you take over, to take on your viscounts back at home. But to be in the running for the competition, to be in the school, you need to have people.
Then... Okay, question, because this was not clarified to me. Just as I'm recounting, I wasn't sent with my viscounts, correct?
Correct.
I believe that all of the other courts have their heir equivalents, if I'm not mistaken. I know that Somera has the Someras. I know that Crown Duchess Morel has her siblings. I don't entirely know what's going on with Cinderloon. So it's by default that they were qualifying for the competition by that metric. Why not mine? If it was a requirement, why was I set up already from the start not to?
The reason as to why others were chosen is, admittedly, because of their lineage. They were born into this in Court Cerulean, the Crown Duchess Morel, the Duchess Waverly, and now the Duke Silas, all have a familial connection of sorts. With Court Solmera, again, they're all related. With Court Cinderloon, they are also all related, except Dante, but there is circumstances put in place that in his court, he was already acting as that for most of his life. With Court Bloodwind, when I reached out to gather information on the people of the court, admittedly, the roles were not stated to me. The only role that was stated to me was your own. So you were put down as the prince. So naturally, I knew you were coming regardless.
Starting to
And
realize
with
I
that,
shouldn't have.
I picked you. I looked into the others' families. Or, well, Celica, I already knew of her family, but with others, if I knew of their family, if I knew of any relevance they may have in the court, I chose them. Admittedly, I cannot tell you what the Viscount's names are for you back at home.
Augusto and Delphine.
I do not know. I do not believe they were on the list I was given. It may have just been a miscommunication.
Is it something that you communicated to... I'm assuming you sent this list to my father?
Yes, I would have sent it to your father.
Did you outline the requirements?
I outlined that I had to be someone noble, born noble, people who he thought would have an interest in the school, and people who were already doing well in their studies back at home, as well as obviously a teacher. But I was sent a hefty list of names. I sieved through them, and I chose the ones who I thought would be the best fit.
I see. I just want to make sure I'm understanding correctly. It was a qualification for the competition here that we have heirs or heir equivalents, viscounts, whatever it may be. But it was not outlined outlined within the outreach, and you didn't verify, I suppose, once you got this list, that the people you were bringing would actually qualify for the competition?
I checked the qualifications of the people that I chose to ensure that they would be fitting the role properly.
So you would be aware then that I wasn't being sent with heirs, but the rest of the courts were?
To my knowledge, I was under the impression that it was simply you.
So was the impression that Bloodwind doesn't have an heir equivalent?
The impression was, yes, that Bloodwind did not have an heir equivalent.
So would it not be unfair against our court to then be requiring us to have an heir equivalent? You can't simply...
Yes. Hence why I had spoken to you previously about picking people. You needn't stick with them, and once I found out that you had your own at court, that was fine. You can choose them if or when you win. But all you needed to do was stick with people for the school year. You needn't stick with them permanently, but it was just something of the school year.
For the majors, right?
Yes.
Right. So the acting Viscountess role was the only acting role we had up until perhaps a month ago. Maybe 2 by this point. It was a role that came about as of Royal Code. We were asked to present as if we were presenting, I believe, at home or at a banquet. And within the scope of the class, just so we had something to present, Vesman, who I had grown close to already as a friend, I had nominated as a Viscountess for the term of the class, the period which we were in, and then to have another, Violet was the next person in front of me. After the class, I considered, what a wonderful moment for a court union, working together with my court. How about for the scope of Royal Code, perhaps for the scope of Everthorn? It would work well to get people experience, and so I nominated them as acting Viscountesses. This wasn't a decision that I believe ever went through or towards you, so if you only learned that there was, I suppose, that update in the acting Viscountess role through Violet recently, have we just not been in qualification? So you understood I didn't have heirs coming here, and then up until Violet talked to you, I'm just struggling to understand the path here, because we didn't qualify for the competition. Ongoing, we didn't. At some point, potentially before you spoke to Violet, you learned that I, personally, without any intervention or ask or requirement or acknowledgement from you that I needed to nominate them, went ahead and nominated them. I was never informed of the qualification, and now, after I have reverted my own personal decision that I made of my own volition, without any oversight from you or any professor, it's an issue.
See, with Roll Code, as you mentioned, that was the, I suppose, class where people were to pick who they wanted to represent their court for the school year, and then when the majors are being chosen, that is on Professor Krypton, and I will speak with her regarding that. I apologize. But when the majors were chosen, That was the final input. No changes could be made there. My issue is obviously less of you having no Viscounts or Viscountesses. It is more so with this. I do know it is on me for not inviting the Viscounts back at home. However, it was stated at the assembly before the majors were chosen that there would be no changes without consulting myself.
There is no changes to the major. Violet will still be majoring as an heir. She's just not an acting Viscountess.
Mhm.
Whichever court should win, she's still in the qualifications, still in the running for that. I don't disagree. I simply don't want her as an acting Viscountess representing me at the moment.
Mhm. But for certain things, you will need a representative.
I have an advisor for that.
Heir representatives. I am willing to, against my better judgment, but because it is a fault of my own, to allow you to have, I suppose, the credits for the Viscount role. Go to those at home, if you were able to give me a contact for their current tutors, to communicate that with them and get whatever credits they have currently.
Certainly.
However, Violet will need to stop attending those classes. And Veswin will no longer be an option.
I see.
Violet, I know, has spoken briefly to me about not knowing what role she can take on now, because she does not want to be useless to the court.
I gave her a number of options to which she denied.
Mm-hmm. I will most definitely be speaking with her more on it, and if her and myself can come to an agreement of something, I will be sure to inform you. However, I can only make so many exceptions for Court Bloodfin.
Certainly.
I would greatly appreciate that the next time that you are in my office, it is not for something that I need to scold you for or to discuss changes on. Obviously, unless it is an issue that you are experiencing within your court that you believe I can assist with.
I am actually. It's something that I had in my meeting notes.
Mm-hmm.
Regarding our topic of conversation, Violet. With the recent action, the forgery coming to mind as, again, there's 3 people that ever had their hands on this book, to my understanding, so it was either myself, Violet, or Helios. I've already ruled out the other 2. The only reason I can think to share a book like this, it's... Truthfully, I don't think damning. It is... I'm not aware of Helios's, I suppose, accomplishments or duties or titles or any credibility. But it is a temporary teacher that came in stating that they personally would do something to a different court. I think the only reason that someone would have to make a copy of this book is if they perhaps gave the prince the original, and then were desperate to do anything to affect their court. Which almost lines up with Vicky, or how you're describing Vicky, of just being desperate to, I suppose, strike back against Bloodwin.
Admittedly, it would not surprise me if Violet had spreading things.
I have the original copy. I don't believe that Violet made a copy. She gave me both of the originals because that's what she had on her when she discussed.
Mm-hmm.
Which...
I will definitely be speaking to her if she's doing forgery. And I've been speaking to her regarding her actions towards the court. And I have threatened her with expulsion if she continues to do so.
What actions against Bloodwin from her are you aware of, if I may ask?
At this moment, it is just her. This is something she has personally told me. Wanting to lose the court points, as well as
How? Okay, so how is that not immediate expulsion? If the entire point of us being here is to gain points and work together as a court to gain points, someone deliberately working against that purpose, how does that not immediately disqualify them as someone that isn't worthy to be anywhere near this school or this school's goals?
I
think you've
been going
actually
back and
lost your
forth
mind, you
on the
old,
decision.
wrinkly son of a... Okay.
And as much as I would love to, I suppose, expel Violet for her actions, by school rules, she is not breaking any, as well as she is gaining core bludgeon points. In fact, I believe she has recently gained your court about 15 points.
I'll have to thank her.
She is acting out. And my first course of action here is to, I suppose, try stop it when I can, instead of just expelling her and letting that, I suppose, hatred of you continue to grow and have it affect you outside of the school.
I'm a prince and a public figure. She wouldn't be the first person to hate me, and going back home, she would just be one in a crowd. It's not a concern. That's why I have knights at home.
It is not a concern for you, but
Would it be a concern for you?
Well, yes.
I
do not wish for a student to have their reputation tarnished. Granted, it may not be a big issue, but you are being punished for something that I do not believe you should be being punished for. I am speaking with Violet. She has told me she is going to calm down. If she doesn't, then the next course will be suspension. She has gotten detention already. And then if coming back from the suspension, she does not improve and continues to act out how she is, she will be expelled.
What merited Vicky's immediate expulsion, again, if I may ask?
She is not expelled, she is suspended.
I see.
Just for the 2 weeks.
I believe you would use the word expulsion, so I just wanted to make sure. Okay, suspended.
Apologies, I must have misspoke. Yes, she is suspended for 2 weeks for the trespassing, obviously, I was under the impression she'd done the forgery, as well as the targeting someone based on their court.
Right. I would like to tip the scales. It is a matter that in the past hasn't been brought forward to you, as it was following in your recommendation to handle things within our own courts. Not every issue needed to rise to you, but it is reaching a point, and especially with what I'm hearing here. Did Violet tell you why she was, I suppose, removed from the acting Viscountess role?
She did not know. She had informed me that you had just said that you do not wish her to be representing Court Bloodwin, I believe.
Precisely. So, it's a laundry list of reasons as to why I don't want her representing my court, or especially me. See if I can recall them. Because honestly, it sounds like you've had about the same exact experience as me. We're on the same page of having talked to her and tried to lay out a solid punishment plan, get her back on course. I would like to give everyone their second chances and their second chances after that. However, each time she says she will improve, it won't happen again, she's sorry, which to my understanding is about exactly what she said to you. She'll calm down. The main issue that comes to mind, and is what was unfortunately working against her most of her tenure, Court Solmera is My understanding, you said that just Bloodwyn and Cerulean were the problematic courts?
Mhm.
Somera's been on our good graces. They haven't scorned us at all. They have, at home, been a fair trade partner. Of all of the other courts at the Academy, they were the one that we had best relations with. I don't believe I have the... I don't know if I have a book on it, actually. She arranged a meeting with me to ask permission to duel a member of Court Somera.
Yes, Luciella. I believe that was mentioned to me.
Is that not a concern?
Dueling in itself is not against the school rules. I do not fully believe I was told what the reason was.
She told to me that she scorned... You said Luciala?
Mhm.
Yeah, she told me that she scorned Luciala and wanted to duel to make it right. And... what was it? She had a very particular response to this when I told her it is not right. It is against our own dueling custom. I don't know how much weight, I suppose, home rules have on Everthorn, but it would go against our dueling custom. She replied that she understood. I asked her if she understood or agreed, and she repeated that she understood. And I believe that the impression I got was that she was going to go ahead with it anyways. I can't say whether or not she did, because if she did, it would be under my radar. She also refused to say how she scorned Luciala, which leads me to think that it may be something I would rather not learn about.
I have recently... The main reason as to why I was speaking with Violet is because Luciala had spoken to me about some concerns she was having for her. I do believe those two are quite close friends. So I believe if there was a duel, it would have been a consensual in both parties. However, I do not know what she was trying to gain exactly. If she had
To me, it reads as
scorned...
bullying.
Yes, it...
To wrong someone and then want to fight them to make it right.
Mhm.
I'm not entirely familiar with Somera's dueling traditions, but I can't imagine it exactly falls within theirs either.
I can't say I'm familiar either, admittedly, but with Violet and Luciala, it is not something that I can say is bullying because of how close of friends they are. I do think it's a very confusing thing and a concern if it is something that is continuously happening. But also, to my knowledge, at least from what Luciala has told me, there was no duel that took place.
I see.
Which I suppose may be better for you to hear. Less of a concern for you. But with Violet, you had mentioned that you had also done the same course of action. It
A
does
number of
seem...
times. There's been many smaller incidents, such as her breaking into my room unannounced and then trying to evade consequence by sitting in bat form. This is also, for what it's worth, before you had allowed Origin use on school grounds.
She has done something similar recently, which I have spoken to her about. I'm not going to pretend that Violet has not been a thorn on my side.
One of these
Because she has.
conversations that I had with her to try and ask her to be more mindful of her actions and behavior, her response was, "Oh, okay, I'll stop telling you things." To me, that does not strike as someone that wants to work with their court, and this is long before even the acting Viscountess role was stripped away. It has been a constant upcoming issue with Violet, and with it scaling even until now. I'd hoped that, in some sense or way, that the acting Viscountess shift would spark a change in her. Celica actually relayed to me that, in conversation with Violet, Violet said that she felt pressure under the role, and that was perhaps why she continued to act out. However, with the role taken away, and she has continued to act exactly in line as she has for the last, 5 months now? It has gotten to a point where it is an active hindrance to our court, my reputation, our entire court's reputation. And with the stakes that are on the line here, to take up the throne, the court, the crown, everything, I don't think that this behavior can be tolerated any further. Any more than that, and it's even larger of a step against our court. And I believe that would be much larger in scale than a simple one-on-one sit-down between me and you in your office.
Mm-hmm. With the new information, next time Violet acts out, she will be expelled. However, for now, I have noticed that the threat of expulsion has seemed to be enough to, I suppose, cause her to act out. She has quite literally begged me to not expel her, and has asked me to see if she could leave Court Bloodwen and just attend the school regularly. I have obviously told her no, and if she is not a part of a court, she cannot attend the school.
So are you leaving the door open for her to join another court? Or
no?
Okay, good.
That is completely shut off. If she is not a part of Court Bloodwen, she cannot be in the school.
Very well.
I will speak with her again, mainly about the forgery, because that is completely news to me, and I do not know why, out of all people, she is going after the one professor that was here for like a week.
Because it's, in theory, all she has. If I can get it in writing, the bit you said about Violet and expulsion.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, I think an extra investigation or further look into the graffiti incident that you've pinned Vicky for. I have my curiosities if perhaps Vicky took the fall, because from what I'm understanding, it seems more Violet's MO. At least from what you're relaying to me with the forgery, her ongoing behavior, and again, the fact that I have not seen Vicky once since she arrived.
Mm-hmm.
I would be highly confused why she would have any distaste. I've been around at all hours, so unless Vicky has been intentionally trying to avoid me, in which case, yes, I would not be able to see her.
I will say I did speak with her quite early, time where not many people would be awake. So I do not know if that is the time where she would typically be out and about, but I do know she has also not attended classes, and I was quite confused as to who she was when I did see her again. Sorry, I'm trying to remember the spelling of all of these last names.
I do not understand even remotely how it could be Vicky. I haven't seen her. For her to somehow develop a hatred when she seemed perfectly fine the first time she arrived. Never show up in the time since. I can check her mail. If her mail is completely full, I have the easiest bullshit flag.
Yeah.
Go in the dorms. Thank you. I suppose I don't have... If that's all wrapped up. I have a small few points that I noted down for our meeting, but... As long as that's everything, I can bring them on.
Yes, you are welcome to. Apologies, I've just
No,
gotten a
fine.
missive that I need to respond to, Clay.
Well, the first thing to bring up is just the Rose Festival. We need to begin preparation on it, and I believe it would be good to have it in our kingdom building area. So I just wanted to make sure that there was no friction there having it off campus. Is there any considerations we need to make for Everthorn besides making sure every court is comfortable and safe?
Obviously, the making sure everyone is safe and comfortable. I would also need the time and exact location of it, where in the kingdom building area it will be taking place.
Sure.
As well as if you are only inviting certain people, I would
All
need
will
a list of those.
Or
If it
all will
is
be invited,
all of
I
the courts,
suppose.
then I would just need a list of every, I suppose. If the head heirs are going to be there, if they RSVP and confirm they will be there, I will need to know that just in case there's anything that does happen, so that Professor Castiel can be keeping watch if I am unable to attend.
Sure. The only other thing is tutors. I've made progress on that, so I should be good in any extra classwork for equestrian that I would need to catch up on. If you can mail that over to me, that would be wonderful. I believe once or twice we actually had Violet send out the classwork, but she gave the incorrect due dates, which I believe to be a brief mistake, but looking back, perhaps it was another act of whatever revenge she seems to be seeking against Blood One.
I do not think that was intentional. I did fix it on the board when I saw that it was incorrect, but she had spoken to me that that was a rather upsetting moment for her. She was trying to help out, though admittedly I do not know how true it is.
Yeah,
But
she
just so
seems to
you
have a way
are,
with words.
yes, just so you are aware, there has been a new kingdom building assignment.
The
posted.
occupation houses, right?
Yes.
I believe it's well underway.
I have seen it recently. You have a lot of progress done.
Yes, I am. I have Rosalind to thank for a good majority of it. She has taken quite the liberty.
Yes, she seems to be rather talented.
Indeed. But I believe that that is all I have for you. Is there anything else that you would like to discuss?
There's not, no.
Wonderful. I will reach back out if I have any further concerns. I will be looking into some things myself. Take care.
Yes.
Rot. If there's anything in Vicky's mailbox that is newer than... I didn't get a time frame, but it would have had to be recent. Would have had to be very recent, no? I came back and the raccoon was on my floor. I was only gone for, what, 2 weeks? If there's anything newer than March, the story doesn't make sense because it matches Violet's MO. Perhaps I'm being too open. If the headmaster is for some reason covering up for Violet... Maddening. What do you mean? Last concern. If I could get a written copy of any requirements or qualifications that a court must be held or is held to, that would be wonderful. I don't believe we've been given any details there. Any precise details there in the past. Copy copy of Everthorn's rules, Nether travel permission book, invitations to the Lunar New Year, and Valentine's Day. You're kidding. You're actually joking. So what the fuck is the headmaster on about? Thank you. And one final ask. When was Vicky expelled? Or suspended? I must wonder if it wasn't a slip. Wow, this is heavy. Okay. I need to figure out the dates on these. The 9th. The 9th. Is there perhaps then a reason that it seems she... No. I'm not exposing my cards just yet. So the headmaster is deliberately lying. It outright could not have been Vicky. I mean, there is the case where perhaps Vicky just never checked her mail. But I find that very hard to believe. If you hate your court, which fits Violet's MO more than it does Vicky, the person who showed up once, and I guess it's just rotted away in a dorm room, went home. I don't know what you've done. Blight. I want to verify something. Because I almost want to put money that any time Violet has spoken to me, it has not been Sir Fioravente, Lord Fioravente, Prince Fioravente, Ezra, Prince Ezra. I feel like every time it's been Prince. Where might he be? Bloodwind permission. So that would have been the Nether. You can contact Castiel. The 9th. Vicky suspended the 9th. This would have come out, what, middle of February? Early February? This is what? No, yeah, both of these are from early February. Almost a month. Hallway near engineering. At your earliest convenience, can you meet me in my dorm room? Nether rules would have come out at the same time as, I suppose we entered the Nether. When did we get access to the Nether? Lady Roslyn, apologies, I missed your outreach. Had a quite tense meeting. Unrelated, do you know when we entered when we first were allowed in the Nether. Because the Nether rules would have come out at the same time. This homework came with, god damn it, the false due date on it was January 4th. It was meant to be February 4th, which would have meant January, because this was the attached study material for it, was it not? So this is January. This is February. This is February. That might be as early as January or even December, as would this be. Additionally, when we received permission to traverse through the Nether to reach our kingdom building locale. And most damning, Everthorn rules. Because other than divine neglect,
I've arrived, Your Highness.
good evening. Come in. Make a space. Do you remember when we first got into the Nether?
I cannot say that I recall, Your Highness.
I see. Do you know then when we were given permission to traverse the Nether to get to kingdom building?
Perhaps a little past the solstice,
So January?
I would say.
I see. And then the Lunar New Year was, the mail came out, what, early February?
Indeed.
Valentine's Day would have been the same. So, off of Vicky's mailbox here, and we also have the horse homework in there, that came out January as well, no?
I'm unsure.
I see. I came to the conclusion just off of the due date was 1/4, but that was Violet's mistake, and it was supposed to be 2/4. So, unless it was a very short turnaround, it would have had to come out in January or even December. So,
I
off
see.
of a mailbox that has seemingly only the Nether rules, a copy of the horse overview, a invite to the Lunar New Year, permission for us to traverse the Nether for kingdom building, a invite to the Valentine's Felfolk Festival, and a copy of the Everthorn rules. How often would you say Vicky checked her mailbox?
I would say not at all.
Or, I suppose, the last that she was around.
Indeed.
Because, have you seen Vicky after her first day? Why does she
No.
look like that?
Vicky. Who was that again?
Arrived, I believe, the same day as Sabrina. The unexpected arrivals.
Oh. Came with Rena. I see.
Correct. And we haven't seen her since. Do you know who's her roommate? Do you have any idea?
She does not have one.
Do you know what room she's in?
I believe there is a vacant room.
Field trip. Because I believe it's on this side, no? It's the one with the goats.
Goats.
I thought I remember that being a conversation. Was it this one or the one below?
This one.
Does this look like the room of someone that's been here? At all? Ever?
No. It looks vacant. Other than this thing.
Yeah, those are everywhere. So. How believable would it then be that Vicky has grown sick of me? Sick of this court, sick of this school, filled with rage. That she goes around, breaks into the demon dorm even. Breaks into my room. Spray paints a raccoon. Does so in the demon dorms. Marks everywhere. Solely out of hate for this court. Even goes to the headmaster and talks about hate for this court, for me personally. Enough to merit a immediate suspension. Seemingly she would have quite the distaste if the headmaster, the king of inaction when it comes to Everthorn punishments, immediately suspends her. But also, she hasn't been here since she arrived.
An episode of clinical insanity, perhaps?
Perhaps.
Psychosis.
I think she went right back where she came from and wasn't here. It's the only thing I can gather. If her mailbox is completely filled with everything, because... this book. If I remember correctly, she did arrive in December, didn't she? Her and Sabrina? Sabrina around.
I believe it was early January.
When did you arrive? Early January raises even more questions because why do you have... Well, hello. Yes, getting it late, but also the Everthorn rules are in here, so it dates it anyways. Or it was just delivered to the empty mailbox. Not too long ago, maybe 20 minutes. To Everthorn. Please sit. I know you were unwell. How are you now?
Fine.
The 10-second pause is very convincing.
It wasn't meant to convince you, Your Highness.
So you are not doing fine.
I can carry out my duties. That is all that should matter.
I see. The headmaster detailed speaking with you.
I'm sure he did.
And he carried a few concerns is all. I share the same ones, and once you're feeling better, would be very interested in talking on that. If you should so wish.
I see. I suppose we can chat.
I don't wish to stress you with anything personal at the moment. My concerns evidently lie elsewhere.
This hypothetical scenario. Who was suspended?
Well, what was described to me is that there is a forgery of a book going around. And additionally, these graffiti arts these raccoons appeared all across the demon dorm. A clear trespass.
Oh.
They linked the raccoons to Vicky somehow, who then reportedly to the headmaster detailed that it was her. She hates the prince, hates Bloodwyn, hates everything. Please sit. Hates everything around this place, and especially hates Singerloon, and was retaliating for the raccoons. Around the same time, this forgery appears. It is a book titled Vampire Stuff. Inside, it says, I, Helios, would personally get back at the demons if they were continuously insulting us based on our origin, as well as calling us bloodsuckers. This is a forgery copy of a book that 3 people have ever had. The original copy is in the hands of myself, and has sat on my body since I got it.
Of course, Helios would not do that.
Of course. The other hand, or the second hand that this would have touched, was Helios, of course. And the hand that gave it to me was Violet. So I've got 2 people there that I cannot see a possible reason to forge a book and screw up the signature. And the headmaster has his own beliefs that own confession that Violet is trying to lose our court points. But it is reportedly Vicky that took the fall for that and was suspected for the forgery. I simply, I suppose, wish to air this out to another sane mind, because the headmaster seems to not agree.
Agree with what, exactly?
I believe that all signs point to Violet being behind both. If she is the only other hand that had a copy of the book, or the original book that she handed to me, unless she made a copy, which I almost assume she might have had to. Well, no, because...
And how do you know it was the original copy?
Let's see, trying to find the right one at this point. The handwriting on it. So, see, that is the original. But the forged copy is a precise word-for-word recreation of the original. Verbatim.
This isn't Professor Helios at all.
Reportedly
I have other
was.
I have copies of his handwriting. It's not him.
Either way, I have this copy, which I believed to have been the only one. And an exact copy of it has now shown up, but off, askew. It's not right. So that would imply that you don't have the original, because if you had the original, why would you not just mass copy that if you want to spread it? It seems like this was a poor recreation. Good enough to fool anyone that, of course, hadn't seen it, because only 3 people ever had.
She is the undeniable culprit, it would seem.
Right. And with the MO and the time frame, that would then implicate her more than Vicky. And Vicky, from what I understand, has not been here. Her room is empty, her mailbox is untouched, not one person.
Did she have brown hair?
I honestly couldn't tell you.
I see. Just a bit fuzzy, that's all.
Apologies, it was a stressful meeting. I don't mean to wait on you. I'm simply trying to, I guess, get a bounce back on the ideas.
It's all right, Your Highness. However, you mentioned a suspension. Who was suspended?
Vicky.
And what point does that have? She's not even here. Allegedly.
supposedly sometime early in the morning, when no one else was around. It was initially, the headmaster said expelled. And when I poked at that, it miraculously changed to suspended, which perhaps it was some genuine slip, genuine mistake, but I believe is Phelan Thorn. I don't think you make those mistakes. I think you have a responsibility not to, as the headmaster, but as the person you are, because if what Vicky's getting pinned for was Violet, and the headmaster is claiming that Vicky confessed to this and did this and spoke all these words that line up exactly with how it seems Violet is also feeling, that means the headmaster is also deliberately covering for Violet. Which raises the question, why? Because I was also threatened in this meeting that I need to have a Viscountess. That I need to have heirs. And that a rare exception would be made for me. I'm struggling to get it. I do not understand.
If there is one thing that the headmaster is, it is confusing.
If he is... I don't understand why he would be on the side of Violet. He claims that he wants us to win, tries to phrase as if we are going to win, and then actively works against it, which I'm sure he tells all the pretty courts that. But...
I'm sure.
It dismantles the entire... I mean... If I'm to understand correctly, there was a ground qualification for competition that every court needs to have heirs. This was never relayed to me. I would assume by extension it wasn't relayed to any of us. Not you. Not Rose. Not Veswin. Not Violet. No one. Perhaps the other courts were informed. They had their heirs invited with them. I am told that it wasn't relayed to even my father when a list of people was sent over. And Phelan didn't do the work to background check and make sure that I was actually coming with heirs. So from day one, we were disqualified. Or not in qualification for the competition. I took the initiative myself to name Viscountesses, acting Viscountesses, for the sake of Everthorn. This was not something the headmaster was involved in. So, in theory, we would have still been disqualified in the actual official written document. And then further, it's only a concern now that I, again, on my own volition, on my own 2 cents, my own side, my non-headmaster, non-Everthorn sanctioned side, it becomes an issue. Never was it relayed. And if he's active, I mean, he's going for us to lose. He's taking any opportunity for us to lose. He's trying to work on the side of Violet. Actively tried to tell me that I'm disqualified until I pushed on the bullshit. Apologies, language.
It is all right.
I don't get the MO. I don't get it. Is he not of a higher stature? Should he not know infinitely better than this? He is supposed to be our court representative. He is standing up for us when we don't have a professor. Is that also for a reason I have to guess?
Your Highness.
Yeah.
The headmaster does not know for whom the crown blooms. It just doesn't bloom for him. He is a confusing man. Part of me believes he's toying with us, with everyone. He makes promises that he cannot keep. And please do keep that information between us.
Certainly.
I'm unsure if he really wants any court to win. After all, we'd be taking what is his. And how does he know that it's among any of us here and not some common serf? A cat could very well be the ruler.
The people he's invited out of each court, I wouldn't be surprised.
Indeed. He claims that not having the crown is freedom for him. Freedom from what?
If I had to guess anything, his honor. If you're feeling up for the travel, I would love to show you my manor on a much lighter note. Perhaps something calmer for you, but
Perhaps.
for the moment I have other things I need to attend to. To close out the discussion, he's an old money bitch, and I can't wait to take his crown from him. I'm glad I have you on my side. I don't have notes for Katarina. I need to have notes for Katarina. I'm a little heated.
I see.
I believe that respect is mutual. And I can understand it from commoner to prince, from the headmaster, from Phelan to prince. A lack of mutual respect is baffling.
It is indeed. However, I believe trying to figure out the machinations of his mind would do more harm than good.
Exactly. You just have to know the field you're playing, and that's unfortunately the issue at the moment.
Well, he certainly seems he's playing a game. One that no one knows the rules to and that he can change on his whims.
I have a meeting to prepare for, but I will reach back out if you're still awake, but if you need to rest, please do. I'm glad to see you up and moving again. When I returned and Rosalind let me know that you were unavailable, I was worried.
You didn't seem it. I wouldn't have been able to tell.
Well, that's a flaw of my own. That's why I at least say it directly, I suppose. Please let me know if you need anything.
I will.
Katarina. If this was maybe a month and a half ago, I feel like I a visit, even just to visit. Ignore whatever meeting we had. I don't know, I feel like I feel like I just want to run. Just romantically sprint, crash into her arms. Probably cry a little or a lot, or I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't. What I would do is probably trade just about anything to be a month and a half ago when I can be in blissful ignorance. I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with her. And is that lamp protruding from a book? What the hell, sure. Katerina. Well, now more than ever, Paper Alliance ties into what I've been thinking on Cerulean. Gives us an actual backing. Means that rather than saying that, oh, our court bond is strong, I can put an actual pen to paper and say that, yes, we are allied. There is actively an agreement at Everthorn for this. That'll also help me win Morel over. Not like that, but win Cerulean over through Morel. At least having a paper alliance with Somera. Also means I'm ahead of the demons. And especially now that evidently the headmaster has an agenda. I need backing. A treaty doesn't have to go through the headmaster. So if the headmaster continues acting against Bloodwyn, I have Somera to have our back. If Bloodwyn is outright fated not to win, which at this point seems likely, it would explain why we've been in last constantly. I wouldn't be shocked if the headmaster's just been fudging the numbers. It explains the double standards. It explains mystery arrivals. What? Just paper figures to knock down? What, did he bring Vicky here? Send her home immediately? Just have her around as an excuse? Or is Vicky just not being around convenient? Is that what's coming for Sabrina next? Is that why Sabrina's here? Mystery arrival solely for the fact of someone he can axe later? Someone that the Sovereign might not be aware of. Screw it. Talk about the meeting. It's not how I would dream of doing so. It's not just crashing in her arms and sobbing something out like the manly man I am, but it's something. She has a level head. I mean, if she's on my side, at least for this, then I know that I'm in the right. That's really nice factors. Rest Festival, I should note that down as well. preface the meeting. Breathe, Ezra. Breathing done. Okay. Okay. It's fine. I'm fine. Doing great. Outright sublime. She could be busy. Unavailable. I mean, I it's the most private place I can think of. Outside of the headmaster's ears. She wouldn't take it as a threat, right? Me asking to meet on our turf. Surely not. I mean, it's just... Okay. It's fine. It's okay. It's a much shorter list than the Phelan notes. She's on the way. Where should I meet? She's... Wait, Ezra. Sit on your hands. Chill for a moment. She's taking her time between replies. I should give her a second to breathe as well. Okay. I'm near the crossing of our dorm paths. I'm at the top of the Bloodwind dorm stairs. I'm fine. Okay. Normal energy, right? I can't be this miserable in front of Katerina. That's it's appearances, right? Yes, that's... Yeah, okay. All right. I'm fine. Yes, I'm all right. I'm great. I'm doing well. I'm no longer doing well. Good evening. I'll make a safe space. The teleportation circle over there is right down here. Easier than nether travel.
I see. Give me just a moment to adjust my ears.
Sure.
All right.
I should ask her, like, how she's been, how she's doing. It's also very friendly. Same thing applies. I still don't know the order for these, but I'm on a lucky streak so far. Mostly.
As long as I don't get sent into the abyss.
Good luck.
That's not promising.
Hey. We made it in mostly one piece.
Pray tell, what do you mean by mostly?
Your hair looks a little shorter. It's a jest. It's a bit of a walk to get up to the manor, but we've been working
Your
hard, so
project.
there's at least a nice view.
It looks wonderful.
How far along are you all on your kingdom building?
I fear that it has mostly been my hand, so not as far as I wish it to be.
I believe most of this is Rosalind's hands, so...
She's done phenomenal work.
Indeed.
Seems very reliable.
Indeed. One of those that you're simply lucky to be graced with.
Yes, I did the area for the most recent project assignment for the villagers and such in their occupations, which I'm still a bit confused on why they would want to have their workstations in their home, so I'm going to give them 2 separate ones, but for the purpose of the assignment, they're together.
Ah.
Apologies, it seems the sun had me for a moment.
Yes, it seems the world had a hiccup. She has been working hard, and honestly, I believe we might host the Rose Festival here.
Oh, that sounds
Ask what it is,
exciting.
ask what it is, ask what it is, ask what it is. Show me interest, please. It's a sort of festival to, I suppose, rain in the spring.
I will look forward to it.
Look forward to seeing you there. The path is a little lacking up here, but...
I don't hold that against it. We don't have paths. I've marked out plots for builds, but not the paths themselves. I was hoping someone else would take the initiative, but I don't think they are.
Welcome to name pending La Casa di Fiorvente.
You should keep it name pinned. What?
Don't mind him.
This looks
If
very
you-
nice.
Yes, I built the frame for it, and then Rosalind took to the inside.
I see.
If you would like to have
My
a look
inside
around.
of my house is still a shell, unfortunately.
Rosalind
Yeah.
does good work. I will recommend her in full.
I don't know how the size of your house, but if your mine is very large. Although yours also seems very large,
I like a high ceiling.
as do I. It makes good for adding perches.
I just like the high ceiling. I don't... I haven't perched much, so maybe it's something I need to consider.
You get to stand above and look down and see everything that goes on. And
I do
you
have
can't
a
sneak up
balcony.
behind you. Balconies are nice. If you've glanced at the Felfolk dormitory, I think there's a balcony on every side of the building, or multiple. But I don't mind looking around. Do you mind guiding me for it?
Yes, I can give you the tour. I was going to set some books down, but... Over here is the general lounge. So any events here will have this room to chill out and conversate. There's a mini stage here.
It's very nice.
I don't know where Rosalind found these, but I've been calling them bone tables.
Interesting.
I don't get the interior design choice there, but it's one of her only misses. Over here is the kitchen. I'm not much of a chef, so I can't give much of a guide besides it's a kitchen.
Very
I
large
suppose someone will
kitchen
work
for
in
a
here.
restrictive palate.
Well, I hope to host events here, and it's a very grand place. I wouldn't want it to go to waste. Over here is a, I suppose, VIP room of sorts. So if there's a larger event ongoing, then we have this room for interpersonal. There's washrooms, the main grand dining table.
It's lovely.
Very nice chandelier. There is guest bedrooms. Just in case you never know.
Someone visits and gets snowed in.
That, or sometimes people are just tired, and we know that our kingdom building is quite far out.
Fair enough.
I guess from there it's about the same, though. And then upstairs here is my office, study, bedroom, whatever personal floor.
I see. For not being one to perch often, you did give yourself the largest, or the highest floor.
Well, I can't exactly have it in the middle and have everyone just, oh, please pass by my bedroom. The party's upstairs. Over here is the balcony I mentioned. If you squint, you can see the dorms from here.
Yeah, is that my dorm?
I see. I think I see mine. That might actually just be a piece of Everthorn itself. Let me tell you. Bedroom isn't all too decorated yet, but the estate did come with a stray cat that apparently wandered in during the final stages of decoration.
I'm sure he saw the opportunity to get into a warm, cozy place that's out of the snow.
Indeed. His name is Two-Tone, for reasons I would hope are obvious.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you, Lord Two-Tone. I will say he has more than two tones.
Well, I was counting the brown and the orange.
I suppose.
I call him Mr. Tones for short, so I suppose it would be Lord Tones.
Mm-hmm. I know Seven has a cat named Tuvali, a play on Moon Tuvali's name. Is also a calico cat.
You can have them meet. Or maybe not.
I would say no.
Well, if they're both calicos. One moment.
But yeah, that is I believe calicos typically are female, so you having a lord is quite rare.
There, now you have a chair.
Just steal it from your bedroom.
It's not stealing if it's my own room.
Loaning it from your bedroom.
It's closer. Well then, I have my own meeting notes, but I believe you called for the meeting initially, so I'll let you speak first.
Yes. Most of my stuff is at this point rather old. I had asked for the meeting around the Cinderella New Year, but I had fell ill shortly after. And
I was about to apologize myself as I stepped away from the academy for a bit.
yeah, I feel as if it may have been I fell ill, and then as I was recovering, you were also gone. So my desire for the meeting was stemmed from discussing what happened between Lady Daphne and Lady Rosalind.
Right.
And ensuring that relations were not tarnished at that. Lady Daphne did get sent home for a week. It wasn't an official school suspension, but between that and I think the pressure of the school, I had sent her home to act as a respite and vacation of sorts for her to get away.
I see. Sorry, I'm reviewing my notes.
Mm-hmm. It's to my knowledge that she did already apologize to Lady Rosalind. I'm unsure if there is harsh feelings there. Because it has been a month now, I don't necessarily want to pry into old business if it is settled. So I hadn't brought it up directly to Lady Rosalind when I saw her today.
Right. No, I believe it's sorted. I can discuss with Rosalind and see if there's anything else she would like, but for the most part, at least from my impression, it hasn't come back up, and that usually means a problem is solved.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything else on mind?
No, it was really just that for it. I wanted to ensure that that incident didn't cause issues between the courts.
No, I believe it was interpersonal. And it also seemed somewhat accidental. There was
Yes,
concerns about intention, but I believe they shook out.
Yes, it was not purposeful. It's the danger of the duels. Stuff happens. I, for one, don't trust totems. I use them, but I don't trust them to ultimately save me, so I avoid dueling. And she had genuine remorse regarding it. And frankly, as someone who has known Lady Daphne for so long, she is not lacking intelligence to the point of attempting to take someone's life in a school classroom in front of an audience.
Mm-hmm.
But I know others did try to find fault with her, and I know that set off a series of events of the pressure, which is part of the reason why I sent her home.
Seems pressure is getting to a lot of people here.
I guess another thing that is also a bit old at this point, I think your Viscountess needs an education on regards to other court cultures, and perhaps not approaching, or she approached to apologize, so she did apologize already for it, but apparently she had the brilliant idea of a maid cat cafe, and
Her name's starting with a V, correct? Well, okay, that doesn't narrow it down. V.I.
Yes. Someone else had already, I believe she mentioned it to someone else, and they had corrected her swiftly, and yet it was deemed appropriate for her to, I guess, come and apologize to me herself regarding it, which I would never have had this information had she not apologized to me. So there's that, but it's also regarding the fact that this isn't the first time disrespecting folk culture,
I'm
and I
unfortunately
worry.
aware. Yeah, I really didn't.
I worry regarding it on what she thinks of my court, and if she, with how many slights she does, I question if it's ignorance or intentionally trying to slight and compare my people to servants.
Well, one of my meeting notes will make you, at minimum, content, hopefully satisfied and on the same page as me about it, but no, we are of the same understanding. Suppose I can start on my notes. The first thing I have is the Rose Festival, as I mentioned, is coming up. I believe it's supposed to rain in spring, so I would imagine closer to the end of the month. Is there anything that we need to have for you and your court?
No, our diets are not limited, so we can eat most things, and unlike Cerulean, we can breathe just fine, and we don't necessarily need shade. We can just use umbrellas should it rains. We are rather neutral when it comes to locations and what's being provided. We do prefer fish dishes, but obviously with Cerulean having more fondness towards them, it's not a necessity.
See. Well, that's the light stuff out of the way. Unfortunately, not much. Well, the first note that I think should bring you at least a bit of relief. Well, former acting Viscountess Feswin is no longer at Everthorn, at least not actively.
That is truly regrettable. I do believe she's someone I could have got along quite well with. She was polite, well-mannered, and respectful.
I have to agree. She had some personal matters come up and had to return to court. And she wants to continue her education abroad, but her focus is health at the moment. But this led to a thought within the court, or at least on my end, of redelegating what she was doing, which realized, honestly, she hadn't been doing all too much. Most of the things that she was doing had fallen onto acting advisor Celica. But with that, we had some redelegations. We now have 2.5 acting knights, Marjorie and Sabrina, and Mateus is an acting de corte, but when needed will step up as an acting knight, and same goes for Marjorie and Sabrina. They will be de corte should it be needed.
I see.
Rosalind is not officially titled yet, but we are aiming to have her as a acting sage. And Violet, the lady in question, is also no longer a acting Viscountess. The role is... I don't know how your heirs function back at home, but our heirs, the Viscounts, the Viscountesses, their job is to sit and study. If something were to happen to me any time before I was able to have a child, then they would step up in my place. But here, what all are you learning that is truly unique to me? And so that, combined with Violet's former conduct, I stripped the role.
A wise decision. I do not think she reflected well upon your court.
No.
As carrying, even if it was just an acting title, it did carry a lot of weight at the academy because she was being placed at the same level as the loons that stand beside me that were born in through the rules, and I wouldn't ever assume my loons would show blatant disrespect to other courts.
Or your own, would you?
No.
Well, at a meeting with the headmaster today, that was regarding some things about a different student initially, but escalated into a concern around Violet and my court in general that I feel would be, I suppose not crucial or vital, but valuable for you to know. Did you have your court vandalized, or your dorm vandalized anytime recently, within the last few weeks? Crude drawings of small
so.
woodland creatures?
No. I have... No, the only vandalization in our dorm was done by one of our own, and was an accident, so it just had brought up concerns until they realized that we were concerned over it.
We did have this, that's not even the one I'm talking about, but that's apparently been a frequent issue. And then...
That reminds me of the portraits within the academy of the professors.
True indeed. No, when I returned to Everthorn, there was a small crude raccoon drawn on the inside of my door. I initially suspected Cinder because the raccoon incident there, but I was told by the headmaster that this apparently extended inside of the demon dorms. Just a blatant trespass into their dorm territory. And reportedly, Vicky, a vampire student, I don't know if you're familiar.
I don't believe I've met her.
Perfect. I wouldn't expect you to have. Reportedly, Vicky went to, or was called upon by the headmaster for this, met quite early in the morning before anyone would be awake, and confessed to this crime of vandalizing and trespassing. I don't believe any other vampires were questioned on this. I don't know why Vicky was, but Vicky detailed a visceral hatred for myself, Court Bloodwyn, and this entire school as is. So much so that she was immediately expelled. You know, the question might be, wow, well, Phelan, Mr. Headmaster, expulsion seems extreme. And the headmaster would, of course, double down a few times before saying, no, it was a suspension. Did I say expulsion? Sorry. So, Vicky is suspended for having done this breaking and entering, but also a forgery has been floating around. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, it's the... So it's a forgery from the vampire professor that had stepped in?
Correct. It's a pretty, honestly, I want to say innocuous book to try and spread. It's a forgery. The handwriting is different from the original. The original, which I have. The name is spelt wrong in this almost perfect facsimile of it. But besides that, it's, for anyone that's never seen it, you wouldn't be able to tell that it's a forgery. However, the original only ever exchanged hands between 3 people. That being me, since I have it currently. Helios, so he could write it. And then Violet, who gave it to me. Violet, who is apparently detailed to the headmaster that she's trying to lose our court points and hates our court and despises me.
She's an immature little girl.
Indeed. And so my concern falls upon... I don't know why she is still here if she is actively working against our court, and the entire purpose is that we are working together to earn points. But additionally, if her current MO, which it would seem that she's the one to spread the forgery around the same time as the vandalism, is she hates the court, or she hates me, hates the court, and hates Everthorn entirely.
Then why is she here? She can leave. She's not obligated to be here.
She's asked to leave Court Bloodwyn.
She can leave the academy.
Precisely. But what strikes me is Vicky has not existed. Vicky showed up with Sabrina, let's see, when was it? The 5th of January. And has not shown up once in the, 2-3 months since? We checked her mailbox. Inside was a book of Nether rules, a permission slip for Nether Kingdom building, so that we could cross to and from in the Nether, since it's a long distance, an invite to the Lunar New Year, an invite to your Valentine's Festival, and a copy of Horse Overview Volume 1. All of these came from January to February, to my understanding. The entire range that she has been at the academy. Her dorm room is empty. Completely empty. There's not a thing in the drawers. She's not expelled, she is suspended. I wouldn't imagine you take absolutely everything and uproot and move back in 2 weeks' time. And I don't know. In comparison on someone vandalized the demon dorms, that is being described as it's an act that happened because the criminal hated me, hated Bloodwyn, hated Everthorn. And it's in the same time frame as something that seemingly only Violet could do. That pretty clearly points to Violet, but instead the headmaster is pointing it at Vicky, who seemingly might have went home the same exact day they arrived.
Interesting.
Also,
so he's trying to cover for her, because this isn't the first
certainly.
instance of Lady Violet forging other people's signatures.
Right. I was also then told that we are required to have heirs. It is a direct qualification matter. If you do not have heirs, you cannot be in the running.
But your heirs aren't with you. He, to my
Correct.
knowledge, I assume didn't invite them.
Well,
Heirs are 2. We're supposed to have 2 heir majors.
I believe so.
I have 1. And he has not brought this up to me. Moon 7 is a ninth major.
Okay. The way that the process was described to me is supposedly the headmaster wrote to my father, and my father sent back a list of people. I prompted, okay, was this request for a list of people? Did you detail that it needed to have the heirs? Did you detail that I needed to be sent with heirs? No. So my father sent a list back of the people to send to Everthorn as me and reportedly just a whole dump of people. And Phelan from there did background checks and verifications and only knew that I was the prince and knew no one else's role. And that's why I don't have heirs.
That's questionable because Prince Phelan hand-invited my court. And he had sent my father the list of who was invited. My father did alterations with permission and swapped some people out to keep our court more functional, but ultimately my court, aside from a select few, were handpicked by Phelan.
Well, I believe that Phelan picked from the list, but did supposedly checks on each person. I ask, okay, if you did checks on each person, you know that I wasn't coming with an heir. Are you unfamiliar
And
with
it's not like your heirs are
court
secretive.
structure?
Everyone
No.
should know your Viscounts. He
I
should
assume
know your
that-
Viscounts.
My Viscounts are in charge at home at the moment, at least of my duties. That's why I assume why they weren't put on the list, because my father needed someone to be in my place. Now, should the headmaster have detailed supposedly that you will need to have heirs if you want to be in this competition, then I'm sure we would have sent them and figured something out. But no, instead, it's only coming up now, 5 months later.
I can see how problematic that is for your court. I don't know how well served he will take a petition of sorts, but at the end of the day, I have one heir, technically, at the academy. I have both my loans, but they are heirs to Solmare. They are not here as heir majors. Seven is not interested in the sole position. And... But it's astounding, because if that is going to be a requirement, then why on earth would they have accepted Seven as a Knight Major?
But also,
Why would that not have been brought to my attention?
if he knew that I wasn't coming here with heirs, and wouldn't even have the ability to assume, because if a whole swath of people came in, if he had 50 people to choose from, and only selected 8, he had no way of assuming that I would come with heirs. And it was something that I decided to put acting viscountesses in place. It came up in Royal Code, and I trusted Veswin enough that I decided to make those roles acting within the scope of Everthorn, and Violet got tacked on as a result of that. But that wasn't something the headmaster was involved in. The soonest that he would have been able to, I guess, figure is maybe at the solstice? When I maybe presented, or no, because I don't know. He says that it was locked in with the selection of the majors. But
Selection of majors does not dictate the rules of your court. Just
Yeah,
because
that's not
I
an
have
acting
people
role.
here, yes, that's people studying to be something, not to be ultimately in service of maybe.
every acting role that I've decided upon so far has been of my own volition. They didn't say anything or communicate anything to me saying that, yes, they will be acting within these roles. I've decided that exclusively myself. I've been meeting with people throughout the last few weeks about it.
You know, the majors, not heir majors, the majors themselves are for the crown. It's for whoever wins the
Yes.
crown ultimately. And that's where I had thrown up the fit regarding the fact my court was being excluded from the Wither fight because I was refusing to fight. On the fact that these are Somera Felfolk who are training to be knights for the next crown. They are not training to be my knights, they are training to be the knights of the next crown, and by making them unable to participate because of my lack of participation is hurting the kingdom as a whole. They are not majoring to serve me. Some of them certainly are. I'm sure if I don't get the crown, they're going to follow me back to Somera and serve me there. But for others, I understand they want to climb higher.
Exactly. I was given the exception because I understand that I may have made a mistake in the situation. My Viscounts at home will be, I believe, sent the material, or they need to work for the credit so that they can be technically my heir majors. They're my technical Viscounts for the sake of competition. But also at the cost of Violet and Veswin losing the major. Violet I am fine with. Veswin, less so. I believe that Veswin's been putting in diligent work and to punish her when she's not even here seems cruel. Even if my court isn't to win, I would still like her to be in the running for another. I think it's unfair to potentially destabilize my court because I'm going to be down I could be down 2 Viscounts at home. Say another court wins and likes the cut of, Augusto and Delfino. They can just claim them and
I'm
destabilize our
confused
court.
by the headmaster's thought process on this. I don't know why he's assuming that our court does not automatically go to the crown, no matter who wins. It's the people who want the majors. We were never even told that there's a limit to 2 air mages. For all
Precisely.
that could have happened, I could have had 4 people in my court want to be air mages. Would I have had them? No. For Samara, we do value the bloodline trait of the twin tails, so I would never have approved of them if they did not have the trait to seek to be on even footing with my loons. But with school regulations, with what we have been told at the assemblies, technically it would have been permitted. So I don't know why he seems to be changing things unless it's purely favoritism towards Lady Violet, if he is trying to cover for her, trying to
I almost
guilt-trip you
outright
into
asked him
letting
to
her...
stop moving the goalposts.
It seems he's trying to guilt-trip you into keeping her as a Viscountess.
Which, why, when he has been given the direct confession from her that she is actively trying to lose us points? It brings to concern for me, perhaps why Bloodwind's been in last or trailing the bottom the whole time. If numbers have been fudged, it would be that easy for him to have done so. If we've had a court member going against us since November, not all too difficult.
Frankly, this situation regarding forcing us to have heirs and such, it honestly could be something that's brought to all the head heirs, and we corner the headmaster on it. Because if neither of us were aware of this, I can't imagine the other 2 were either. Cerulean had the benefit of, similar to Somera, they have siblings. Their Crown Duchess has siblings, and those were her duchesses, her heirs here. But Cinderloon, it is to my understanding that it's the High Chancellor, and then the Chancellor, and then presumably Lord Dante, given he was at the Solstice event. But after the book from Mistress A. Fable, perhaps he isn't. So they might be someone worthwhile to gain the support of on not being forced heirs upon us.
Of Cinderloon.
And, and quite frankly, any head heir is simply, I would question why they would even want Violet as an heir. I don't think any of us should want Violet as an heir.
Point. I went through I brought up the incident between Violet and Luciala, and the headmaster shrugged it off. Violet outright came to me, said, "Hey, I wronged this member of another court, and now I want to duel them. Can I have your permission to do so?" And then when I said no, she went, "I understand." I said, "Do you agree?" She goes, "I understand." And when I brought it up in future occasions, she would just, "Okay, fine, I just won't tell you things then." I do not get how that just gets shrugged off. That is directly bullying another court. I mean, he approached it from the standpoint that they are friends, but also that is still intolerable behavior.
Yes, I will say rallying the other head heirs regarding it may put the prince on the defensive and not appreciate it, most certainly. The headmaster's a Prince Ezra.
Fair enough.
He only became a headmaster 5 months ago. I have been referring to him as Prince.
I'm used to being referred to as Prince. Apologies.
I tried to correct myself when I'm speaking in front of you, but it is I was raised to refer to him as Prince Phelan.
That's my final bullet point. I understand that we have our own relations and agreements at home. I would like to draft something here that we can share among our student bodies and have on paper to show to the headmaster, so I don't have to... When I was trying to build the case of Violet and Luciala, I had to fudge my way through that. Oh, Somera is a non-problematic court, and we were trying to retain that for Violet to then strike, rather than just our courts. And you and I as individuals have history that garners a mutual respect. I think having something on paper would be good. A alliance, a treaty. I understand that the demons and sea monsters have one like it, but...
I wasn't aware of that.
Oh.
I was going to say that outwardly having an alliance of that sort would have... If any of our parents had done that, that would have immediately caused great tensions if it was publicly known. That
No,
it
it was...
betraying the trust of the Concord. But it's interesting knowledge. I would be wary on if you're wanting this specifically to show to the headmaster, because like I said, that could easily be used against us, and if the other two courts do have it, that is going to very immediately cause a divide. It is going to be one side versus the other.
My thought... I don't think that it will be an even match for long. I would assume that you and I are able to come to an alliance here within the scope of Everthorn, something that we can relay upon our students, our court members, and fall back upon. From there, Cinderloon seems to deal with things interestingly. From what I've dealt with them, they don't take accountability. They have whatever strange structure. And they've struck me as pompous and a number of other reasons. Of all the courts to take the throne, I do not want it to be them. However...
Nor do I. That's my least favored candidate, and quite frankly, nothing against the High Chancellor himself, more so I know that due to royal code, their governing style is vastly different.
Yes.
And I don't want them to impose that on my court. I want to protect my court's way of life.
My thought is I believe I'm on neutral or positive enough terms with the sea monsters. I've been conversating with Morel, and I believe that relations there are fine, or good, are manageable. Should we have a paper alliance that we can fall back upon between Bloodwind and Silmera, I believe that I could prompt this upon Morel. If I can further develop that relationship, that friendship, whatever it would be, then I can bring it to her within a meeting, have her sever the Cinderloon alliance and join into ours. It would be a matter of chance. I believe it's a sort of treaty to, if one court is to win, then safety is guaranteed. So with our paper alliance, if your court was to win, it would be guaranteeing that Bloodwind is taken care of. That we're still safe, that our way of life isn't changed. To my understanding, I would assume that's what the Cinderloon and Cerulean alliance is. If Cinderloon is to win, then they're not going to impose their way of law or their way of rule or way of living onto Cerulean. So it boils down to a numbers game. You can either have a chance to rely on Cinderloon winning and hope, and then not have a guarantee with the other two, or join with the other two, have a chance with all of them, and of course your own court. And it's a numbers game. Is it 25% versus 75%? You would join the 75.
There's a flaw to that. Cinderloon has been in the lead for months now, and it's not a small lead. Currently, my court is 40 points behind Cerulean, who's in second, and yours is even farther behind me. if the Crown Duchess has a deal with Cinderloon to be mutually beneficial for their two courts, she wouldn't sever that, because then she is throwing away her safety, because then she is aligning with the two on the bottom. And should we do this, and should it be approached to her with it, and she doesn't join us, or even if she does, either way, it is going to show Cinderloon that they are more outcasted, more alienated, and open the gateway to if they're going to play more dirty. They already seem to have been playing dirty with delaying their point reports, but should that turn more physical, there's already been curse attempts, there been the pranks and such. Mistress A. Fablebook mentioned a attack. It is going to step up the competition in a more brutal way. And that is something I already expected coming into the academy, for one. But if you are giving them the fuel to do so, that does put you directly at risk. Puts both our courts directly at risk.
Indeed.
Their alliance between the two is not something that has reached my ears until now. So, presumably, it has been, for the most part, well kept. Because I'm sure they know the same thing. I'm sure they consider these same points on regards that it will cause a divide and will ramp up competition in a more negative, brutal way. And at the end of the day, if competition turns brutal, then whoever wins the crown is going to have hurt feelings.
Indeed.
I am open for still signing a contract. I would just be more wary on how it gets approached to the Crown Duchess. Because
Of course, it's still very tentative. I can't say I'm all too sure what angle to take with the Crown Duchess yet, but it's an opportunity for now.
I do desire to get closer with her. This is private information, but from my sources, it regards to the fact that their court, I don't know how private it is at this point, but their court is having issues, perhaps, and they might have a fracture of some sort. So I seek to befriend her closer, just to, if she does ascend her position early of some sort, I can ensure that there is agreeable terms.
Very well. It's something we'll have to play by ear, I suppose. But either I can start drafting a official treaty or something formal, or if you would like to.
If you want to draft it, I'm sure Islet may have critiques for it, but if you want this treaty, I want it to cover what you're looking for out of it. And since I don't know what you're looking for entirely, I won't be able to adequately make one.
Very well, I will get to work on that, and I'll arrange another meeting for us.
Do we want to consider the meeting between head heirs regarding this seemingly new requirement that we have to have 2 heir majors serving beneath us?
Potentially. I'm curious to talk with Morel on it. I wonder... because I can't say I'm familiar with how Cinderloon stands on it, and I don't want to give them ground to stand against us. Because I understand that things are currently a bit tense between our courts already. I don't want to give them a reason or any sort of fuel if I'm not sure that if they oppose, they would be alone. I don't want to arrange a meeting between all the head heirs and then I bring it up and we're, I suppose, directly opposed 2 versus 2. If I at least know that the Crown Duchess is agreeable on it, then Cinderloon would be standing alone on the matter, and we at least have that.
I see. As long as it doesn't get to her that you've already confirmed my opinion, and you're confirming her
Of course.
opinion, and then you're informing the High Chancellor, because that then is
No, it will
Your
be
badgering.
kept private, 1-to-1. But yes, I will look into what we can do. Also, the last thing to loop back around to Violet. I have written confirmation from the headmaster that the next time that any other incidents after today come up that cause disruption to the court will result in suspension. Although, in person it was expulsion, so that's wonderful. Perhaps not.
Interesting.
Been a long day. But I believe that's all I have to discuss, unless you have anything.
No, that would be everything then.
Very well. I will take you back to the teleportation circle. My Folda, I guess, wish that she maybe at least brought up the Valentine's Festival in any slight fashion. I mean, yes, I mean, time has passed. It's been a while, but it's been a month, but I guess that's confirmation that she does see it strictly professional. I mean, she doesn't have any personal weight going towards it. It's just, I mean, yeah, that was just cost of doing business. It's not something that she even maybe knows was wrong. It's alright. We at least have, in terms of professionalism, a good start. She is mostly agreeable on...
I haven't seen Lady Marjorie, but she has my condolences for Lord Baklava.
Oh, yes. I will pass them along for you. What was I saying? She's agreeable on the professional matters, and I suppose that is what matters. I mean, that's what we're fighting for. She agrees. She's a strong confidant. That's all I can ask for. It's fine. Just get over it. That's how it goes. It's the life we live. It's the way we lead. One foot in front of the other and ignore everything else for now. Let it fester. Make sure everything's inside. I'm scared at you. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Hey,
well,
we made it.
in one piece.
Well,
My hair is not getting shorter.
oh no, not the hair. Would you like me to walk you to your dorm? Or
If you don't mind walking me up the path so I'm not
Sure.
seen walking from your dorms by myself. think others are more comfortable just relaxing on dorm paths, but I am not.
I agree.
Yes,
well.
farewell.
Farewell. Just go, just go, just go. Perfectly fast. Does it feel like I've just been punched in the gut again? Something I've been over and been through. There's nothing new here. Empty dorm. Thank you, Phelan. I don't know what to do. I don't. Okay. Alright. Okay. I need to write a treaty. I can't let myself get distracted. Screw the experiment.